Hello everyone, this is Prashant, and in this unit we are going to cover perception. So let's begin. So, what is perception? We will start with a few examples. The sky is blue, the car is moving, and the fire is hot. All are self evident. You can observe them in real life, pretty common examples. And what's the similarity between them? That there are things out there that I observe. And this brings us to our definition of perception, that perception is the awareness of things in reality, the things outside of me, or the things happening to me. I mean, both are correct basically, but we are observing reality. That what it means, looking outside. Okay, so let's go. So if I close my eyes, I stop seeing, and if I clog my ears, I stop hearing, and if I close my nostrils, I stop smelling. So this gives us to a basic induction, that is certain organs play a essential role in perceiving reality, and we call them senses, because without your senses you cannot see reality, right? That is also pretty self-evident. This is the inference we made from observation. And now moving forward, so there is a reality and you observe it through your senses. So man perceives reality through his senses. That's the basic. And perception is the man's awareness of reality through his senses. So, yeah, the whole process is perception. So, now is a clip, and on the left side, there is icy cold water. In between, there is normal water, and on the right, there is hot water. And I'm going to do some experiment with it, and that is I'm going to dip my hands in icy cold water, and then I'm going to dip my hands in the warm water. And then I bring both of my hands into the room temperature water. So, what happens when I bring my hands into the room temperature water? Well, the hand that was in the cold water appears to be warmer, and the hand that was in the warm water or hot water appears to be colder. So, this gives us to a basic inference that perception is relative. But that doesn't mean that the perception is invalid. Why? Well, perception has two forms of content. Number one is form, how we perceive a thing, and number two is the object, what we are perceiving. So the feelings of cold and warmth are the way in which we perceive a thing out there, and the thing we are perceiving is the temperature of the water, basically. So it is correct that when there are temperature differences, from cold to normal water appears to be hot, and from hot to normal water appears to be cold, and the way in which it appears is also valid. But if you want it in a quantitative terms, then we are actually measuring temperature that our form of perception cannot tell. We have to kind of use some instruments for it, like the height of the mercury in a thermometer. So once we have done that, now we move forward to the form. So how we perceive is dependent on our nature of the senses and the object we are perceiving. So perception is unity between uh, the entity that is observing the reality and the object in it. So yeah, so different people observe reality differently, or like a normal vision person or a color blind person, or different animals also perceive reality differently. uh, like a normal vision person, for a normal vision person, the fruits appear in a colorful manner, different fruits, red, yellow, green. But for a color blind person, it appears like this. They are perceiving the same object, but the form in which appears to be, that is the color, is different, and that is determined by the cone cells in their eyes. So what do I learn from it? Well, basically, perception gives us direct information on reality. That is, from your senses, we have learned that so far. All information provided by your senses is self-evident. You can just have to look, basically. And to perceive is to perceive something out there in some form, by your certain organ or your senses. And all forms of perception are valid, because you are observing the same thing even if it appears differently to you. Okay, and senses are valid. So perception is my fundamental source of knowledge. So that is the basic inference I draw from it. So this was the conclusion of perception and introduction to it. In the next few videos, I will go through the cues of perception, different theories about perception, gestalt perception, motion cues, etc., etc. So I hope you enjoyed it and have a nice day.